So the rumors are actually confirmed. There has been at least 11 cattle that were found dead on a logging road that's just off the Barkerville Highway. And we have some suspected causes behind what might have happened. Now, I'm sorry if I didn't believe some of you who were messaging me this morning, but you have to understand that when someone's making wild claims and says you need to report on this, I need to have the facts before I start just saying things, right? So, right away I was seeing this morning people saying things like the government's spraying things to make everything acidic, to kill everything. Like, whoa, wait a second. Like, what's true and what's not true? Is there even 11, or is there even, because I heard 20 dead animals. Is there 20 dead animals? Some say they were shot and their guts were everywhere. And like, okay, all kinds of conflicting rumors. And until like someone says to me verifiably, I know someone who is there and can say, so I asked, like, well, where can I go? And they said, well, it's already cleaned up and they've been sent to Alberta. I was like, what? When did this happen? Like murky answers. So it's like, the rumor mill went wild. And now we have some more answers as to what might have happened. Joey Only, Carry Weather Dude YouTube channel. Let's talk about this one quick. Let's go. There it is. This is bad news. My God.
Falling out right now.
Anything could happen. Get on! Wow. I'll watch the video later. They dry mopping this. Hit like, share, subscribe if you wouldn't mind. Become a member of the channel. That keeps me going with my reporting. So what do we have here is we have at least 11 confirmed cattle that are dead. There may be more. And what seems to be happening is that a contractor, for whatever reason, had left or in transportation or in storage, probably not application. So I don't think this is because it was used and they were, because it's used in low enough concentrations that it shouldn't have detrimental effects. So what happened was there's like a large amount of it that the cattle were coming and getting into and then dying very horrible and painful deaths. So what was it? It's urea. It's a nitrate fertilizer that's used to encourage juvenile forest stands to grow a little faster. That's problematic as our forestry practices on the whole. That's the culprit here. Was there a government conspiracy to kill animals and kill everything? No, certainly not. There is some error that was made in the application of a substance that is questionable whether it should be being used at all. So I'm told that the rancher is being and has been receiving some help or cooperation from the contractor that was involved, who obviously feels very terrible. I'm also told from inside government source that I have that it's being looked into on all levels, that there's likely to be a statement at some point released about it or something said more officially so that the rumor mill gets quieted down a little bit and so that the truth can come out as a fact-finding event occurs. So the animals are being tested. That much I also know, that it's going to be confirmed whether this is indeed nitrate poisoning. The government wants to know and get it right. And I think it's also important that when something like this happens, even if they're doing their diligence now to find out what happened, we also do our diligence and maybe write to Minister of Forests, Ravi Parmar, and say, hey, we want to make sure this kind of thing can never happen. Whatever that means. Maybe you mean... So, I'm not exactly sure that this was sprayed or being sprayed. It could have been... you put these little backpacks on and you walk and the thing spits out grass seed or fertilizer, things like that. It may be more a case of that and they were stored improperly. Again, I don't know, so I don't want to jump to conclusions. But I don't think this is a case where, a helicopter flew over and sprayed some stuff and then some cattle walked into it and ate some of the stuff that was sprayed and then they all died. So like get that out of your mind. What happened was probably definitely unacceptable. And fact-finding mission is happening. And hopefully we can get to the bottom of what's happened. And that some accountability, I don't necessarily mean in a punishment way, but in a way to make sure that this can't happen. Because what goes on is, we clear-cut a vast section of forest. Then we let the sun bake the BC soil isn't rich in a lot of places as it is. You go to Southern Ontario and you like dig into the loamy black earth and you're like, oh, wow, this is rich soil. That's not like that in the BC interior at all. So we burn off everything there, or we log off everything, and then the sun cooks the soil down and then further depletes the nutrients. And then we spray, we put a monoculture forest in place, and then it's not succeeding fast enough. So then we spray the competition, which are things that would actually add nitrates back in. The proper, process of the soil rebuilding itself after some disturbance is to have these nitrogen-giving plants come back. So we make sure we spray them with herbicides to make sure that those plants don't compete with the saplings, so that the saplings grow faster. And then we put a bunch of fertilizer on that forest stand to try to make up the difference. And as you know from the Dust Bowl 30s, just pounding fertilizers into things, and like we saw in the 70s and 80s as well, when they had to make some changes into how farming was done in places, because you just keep pounding fertilizer into the same places over and over and over and over again, and you're not letting for proper soil management. It can't last forever. Can't do that forever. So we have certainly a industry that's more built on profit than it is built on what is good ecologically. So that much is true. But no, it's not true that it's being done on purpose. It's not true that they're trying to kill cattle or anything like that, or it's a fertilizer. The goal of it was not to kill things. It was to encourage growth, right? So keep that in mind. A mistake was made. A mistake that's in context of a system that isn't, ecologically speaking, preferable. Okay, that's what I have to say for it for now. Tune into the podcast tonight. We'll try to have more on it for you. Okay, thanks. Bye now.